take a shower. Next week, 20 after midnight, looking like a slob, and I could have had a 9-to-5 job. But I'm a grad student. My glasses are squarish. I'm a grad student. Publish or perish. I'm a grad student. Got no time for TV. That's why they're giving me the 3rd degree.
I'm a free pen thief and a free food eater.
You should see the size of my curriculum vitae.
Among grad students, I'm the baddest dude. My classmates like me.
Yeah, we've been peer-reviewed. Regrade request, let me think. Denied. I just put spinners on my sweet new ride. Cause I'm a grad student.
In a community of scholars, I'm a grad student.
I make dozens of dollars. I'm a grad student, and I'm sure you'll agree.
That's why they're giving me the 3rd degree.
I work in a lab with acids and bases. I study antimalarial activity enhancement and hydroxymethylcarbonyl isotyr-based mimetics targeting aspartic proteases.
My new results to be unveiled are experiments to show why my experiments failed. Bitchin' and screaming at Microsoft Excel.
Think I'll drink this HCl. This is my advisor, helping me advance. All he does is yell and apply for grants. He wants to know my progress, but I can't be found. Oh, looks like you dropped your grants on the ground.
Grants on the ground, grants on the ground. Looking like a fool with your grants on the ground.
Cause I'm a grad student, my hope is shrinking. I'm a grad student, what the hell was I thinking? I'm a grad student, I'm teaching for free. That's why they're giving me the 3rd degree. It's a sad and cruel existence.
Going to class as teaching assistants.
The college kids all disrespect us. I got no prospects, just my prospectus.
We try to teach them how to search print media,
but they all just copy Wikipedia. Don't beg for points or you'll regret it. I wrote my name, that's partial credit.
An in-class essay, now the students will ramble.
We bet on who's cheating, yeah, we Procter and Gamble.
Taking student loans just to have some money, paying them off till my kids are 20.
Every passing day makes me afraid.
Hey, just think of this as 23rd grade.
Without caffeine, I'll feel destroyed. It's my favorite xanthine alkaloid. After 12 years here, I'm a bit embittered.
Yo, crank that up, that's all things considered.
Hey, I almost got my PhD, MBA, MFA, EdD, DVM, DDS, MAng, VCR, JD, and my MD. Yes, but I'm ABD, so it's all BS. Yeah, I'm a nickel-saving, never-shaving, bagel-stealing, shame-concealing,
Summer-hating, annotating, probably never graduating.
hardly caring, flash-wearing, moron, teaching, microfiche,
Early rising, harmonizing, never ever unionizing.
crap enduring, debt incurring, overnighting, thesis writing,
Data mining, constant whining, I can't see the silver lining.
paper grading, tax evading, uninspired fairy tires, sniping, griping, always typing, please don't take away my stipend. Grad student, hey, I'm learning to cook. Grad student,
I should buy this funny book.
I'm a grad student. If I try to stay mellow, I can start my career as a postdoctoral fellow.
Thank you for coming on the interview. I think
Sure.
that this will be really, really helpful for writers of children's books, of adult books, of anybody who wants to promote their business. So this is going to be great. And I would like to know, first of all, you wrote your book, Surviving Your Stupid, Stupid Decision to Go to Grad School by Adam Rubin with PhD exclamation point in parentheses, which I thought was hysterical.
That was my agent's idea.
I love that. I love that. And Random House published it in 2010, and they did a couple of book trailers, which were very cute. And so why don't you give a little background for people on what happened with this book, why you wanted to write it, how it came to be, and all that.
Sure. So I was in grad school for about 7 years, getting a PhD in molecular biology. And I wanted to write something humorous about it. I'd always done a lot of humor writing, and I hadn't seen any survival guides to grad school. There were survival guides to college, but nothing for grad school. And actually, there really wasn't anything for grad student humor at all, except for this one comic strip called PhD Comics by Jorge Cham, which is terrific. But that's pretty much the only thing there was. So yeah, I was working in grad school, and I wanted to write something humorous about grad school. And the way I did it is I was writing for National Lampoon at the time, not the movies, the website.
That's
Just
cool.
a few little humor pieces.
Uh-huh.
And they had someone in charge of the book division who contacted all the humor writers and said, would anybody like to pitch us a book? And so I pitched them this book, and they ended up not wanting it. They said it wasn't their demographic, that their demographic was drunk frat guys, and drunk frat guys don't go to grad school. And then the book division sort of went under completely, and the person I've been working with there contacted all of us again and said, now I've been fired. If anybody wants my help to a publisher outside of National Lampoon, just let me know. So that's what I did. I contacted her and ended up purchasing a list of agents' email addresses. I still don't know if that was the best way to do it or not. But
not usually the recommended way, but it worked for you.
What's that?
It worked for you.
It worked for me eventually. I think there were like 150 email addresses on the list, and 50 of them bounced back and were not correct. And another 50, the people weren't interested or never responded. But then the others did want to hear my proposal, or at least wanted to read the proposal. So I ended up sending the proposal to about 40 different agents. And 2 of those agents were interested in moving forward, and I picked one of the 2. And that was it. Then she did what agents do and sent it around to publishers. And same thing, every publisher rejected it except one, but all you need is one. Is a great one. So yeah, with the videos, what happened is that at some point I got the idea that maybe I should meet with my publisher to talk about publicity. My agent gave me this book about how to publicize your book. And one of the things it suggested is, being proactive. And I realized that if I wasn't going to ever, ask for a meeting, I wasn't really going to ever meet them. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I wasn't even going to meet my agent. And they were based in New York, and I'm in D.C., so it's not too far. So I took a day off of work and emailed them in advance, had lunch with my agent, and then we had an afternoon meeting at Random House with the publisher and the publicist and someone that they had on staff just doing viral videos.
Wow.
So we talked about promotions in general.
They're doing videos because you just hope they go viral. Books. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. That was a little weird that they said, we want to make a viral video. And I thought, well, yeah, you want to make a viral video.
Who doesn't?
I know you'll make a video, but viral is kind of up to the world.
Right.
So, but it was kind of neat that they were willing to. In fact, my agent said afterwards it was really, really good and very unusual that they have someone who just does that kind of publicity for you.
That's right.
So I really appreciated that a lot. They wrote these scripts partially based on parts of my book, and they sent me the scripts, and I did some editing, and then they filmed it completely. And I didn't see the videos till they were done.
Yeah, they're cute.
And the videos went online. Yeah, they're cute videos. And
they got a few thousand of views. Yeah,
I looked just the other day. One of them's got 5,000. I think one has as many as 12,000 views. But they've been out there for about 2.5 years.
Right. And then you decided to make your own video.
Yeah. So the ideas that I spoke to them about in New York at that meeting, I also had this other idea to do a grad student rap video. So at the time, all these unlikely people rapping videos were becoming very popular. There was Lazy Sunday on SNL and
librarians and stuff.
Yeah. This guy did a McDonald's rap that got a couple million views. So I thought, rap about grad school, I can write that. I used to write a lot of musical comedy, and so I can put that together. And then I thought that Random House would film it, but really I just I just procrastinated and didn't get it out, didn't get it done for months. And so at that point, I thought, well, maybe I'll just have some friends film it. Mm-hmm. So I have a friend who's a videographer.
Chuck?
Chuck Na. I mean, he's actually he works in technology transfer, and so that's his main thing. He's a biologist. I met him in grad school.
A lot of multifaceted people. You're a scientist and a comedian and a writer, and your friend is a like really interesting group of people.
Yeah. He's actually done some comedy too. Chuck has.
Wow. That's great.
And then we were at a party, and we found that our other friend's husband has like a little sound studio in their apartment. He does audio, and that was kind of the missing piece. So we went there and recorded that.
You recorded the song. You recorded the song first.
Recorded the song first. Mm-hmm. Because we looked at these rap videos and how they're put together, and really the song is recorded at high quality.
Right.
And it's a complete thing. then you do the video, recording just the video but no sound, and then sort of put the two together. And so you're lip syncing in the video the whole time, but it doesn't really matter.
Right. But you're also, so as you are being filmed and acting out, you have it playing on like a boombox or something.
Yes,
and
that's
you're just,
exactly, yeah.
Right. And then you just take the sound out, or you don't record any sound.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, if you watch the original tapes, it's us singing along with the boombox, but no one ever gets to hear that.
Right.
Or actually, not even a boombox. It's my laptop. It's playing off of my laptop.
Right. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So we recorded that, and the filming actually took a long time. The audio took about a couple hours to get down, and then Derek Young, who did the audio editing, he took a few weeks to get that sounding good and put some beats behind it and things like that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the way he did that.
But the video is very complicated. There are a lot of cuts. There are a lot of different views and some funny things in it. Really funny. And you had quite a few people in it. There were some laugh out loud moments.
Yeah, so the video took a long time to film. We did maybe 5 or 6 or 7 individual sessions of filming.
Wow.
Which was not easy because we filmed most of it in Baltimore on the campus of Johns Hopkins University, which is where we all met, both me and Chuck and Mike Freeman, who's the other person rapping in the video. So he was another grad student, basically the friend that I found who was willing to be in the video. So he and Chuck and I basically walked around campus for a couple hours, and Chuck would film us in one place. We'd check shots off of a list. We needed these 80 different shots, and then sometimes we see something else and just kind of do it. And so I think he ended up with 2 or 3 hours worth of video, and it really was Mike, the other rapper, got really sick of the project toward the end.
Yeah, it's hard, and but look at the upshot of what you did. You got into the New York Times.
Yeah,
and
I couldn't believe that.
Right. So tell me, first of all, in terms of what would be the best tips in terms of creating a video like this, or any video really. You just said you had a shot list. Did you do storyboard, or did you just your script was your lyrics, was the song?
Right. So I pretty much just laid it out in Microsoft Word and said, this line, we should probably be doing this. And I'd say about 70% of the things that were in that original list actually got filmed and might have ended up in the last bit. There are certainly parts where Chuck, the videographer, was just at liberty to take any other B-roll shots he happened to film and just sort of play with them, put them in.
Like the guy looking for you or whipping you, or when your friend when your friend tried to climb the wall with his feet, was hysterical.
Yeah, that was not in the shot list.
I know, I figured.
He did, and it seemed funny. And
it was funny. It was very funny. There was a lot of really funny stuff. The advisor whipping you, and
I should say that's actually not my advisor. It's my father-in-law, but he looks very advisor-like.
He does. I wondered if you actually asked your advisor, "Can you pretend to whip me?" That would have been great.
No. So. And actually, we had another sort of deadline to work around because Mike, the other rapper, was going to move to Germany, where he currently is.
That is a big tip. And make sure your cast members are all living in the same town, country, maybe.
So we had to get everything with him done in advance. We had 3 or 4 sessions with him. We filmed everything in Baltimore, and he was living in Baltimore at the time, but I was down in D.C., and Chuck was in Columbia, Maryland, which is partway between the two. So we had to all sort of meet there a few times. And then after Mike left, we filmed the shots we didn't need him for. We filmed us in the library. We filmed everything with my advisor on a fake college campus, which is just my neighborhood in D.C. It took a long time. In fact, the first thing we did with filming, anytime you see us at a shot in front of the blackboard, that was Chuck's idea, and it's a good idea. We just did the entire song, beginning to end, with a lot of stops in the middle, because none of us memorized it, in front of the blackboard. Just me, and then a whole time of just Mike, and then a whole time of both of us. That alone took an entire afternoon. And the point was that if there's any shot later in the song that we couldn't get, we could always fill in with one of those. We had coverage no matter what.
Right. That's brilliant. It's like having more than one camera.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, but you had to do it because you only had one camera. You had to do each one separately.
Yeah.
Wow. That was very smart. Well, you had somebody who knew what he was doing.
That was Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah, Chuck Nah. I did my homework. So that's a really good tip. What would be another tip, do you think? Do you think it would have been... I mean, you did sort of have a storyboard in that you wrote a description of here's what we need to be doing at this part of the song. And it is a little different than a regular video in that it's not necessarily telling a story. It's relating a feeling about being in grad school. But it was still necessary to know what you were going to be shooting. You can't just go outside and start shooting and singing.
We knew what were the most important things that we needed. We knew that, you know, for example, the shot with the pinwheels on the bike. We knew that we wanted to do that, and so we knew we had to go buy some pinwheels, find a bike, and actually we ended up just using a bike that was chained to a bike rack, since neither of us had a bike on
a guest
campus.
star bike.
So you just picked someone's bike, stuck those in the sides, and we're like, hey, there we go. So we knew with some shots that we needed this particular shot or the lyric wouldn't work. Because the lyric there is, I just got spinners on my sweet new ride, and without that, there is no joke anymore.
Right.
But other times, we did just shoot anything. We're here, we're in this part of we're in Mike's lab. Let's just play around with some stuff and film it. Let's film Mike saying this line in 4 different ways and see whatever's funniest.
Although, yeah, that works, but it does cost you time in the end because if you have it planned in the beginning, you can always improvise. But I really am a full believer in writing your script. It saves so much time. Every time I don't want to write a script or don't want a storyboard, I pay for it. I never want to do it either, I always pay it. I always pay the price. I'm like, oh, why didn't I listen to myself? I've got to follow my own rules.
Oh, but this time it was Chuck who paid the price, so it was okay. I think part of the reason that we didn't mind doing it this way also is that Mike and Chuck and I were good friends, and so this was kind of us hanging out several times before Mike moved to Germany.
Right, and this is before you had a child.
This was before I had a child. That's very
a big difference.
Yeah.
So let's see. I want to know more secrets.
Okay. One thing that was interesting, we never knew if this would go viral, and I don't even know if you can say that it went viral. It's got over 100,000 hits, which is
that's very good.
Far more than we thought it would, but I don't know what qualifies as viral. One thing that I guess we posted the video officially on YouTube on, I forget what day it was, something like January 12th, 2011, and then it was up there public for a couple days, but only because we were sort of getting ready to quote-unquote launch it, to send emails out to friends and say, go see this. And during those couple days, when no one knew about it, it got no hits. It got basically no hits. And the way that it went from 0 to thousands was we all sent it to our friends. We put it up on Facebook in several places. We each posted it to everywhere we could think of. We sent out emails. And then, it started to climb. And in fact, for the first few days, it was really exciting. Yeah. We just hit refresh. We'd be like, we've got 6,000 views, and it's only been up for 3 days. It's amazing. It
is, and that's a very good marketing tip to tell people how to get people to watch their videos. But you have way more people than all 3 of you know, because you're well over 100. You're over 110,000 now, I think.
Yeah, 112 is the last I looked.
112,784. Not that you're counting.
Not that I'm counting. I have no idea how many.
But it's very impressive. Very impressive. I really tip my hat to you. And it's a great video. I mean, the production value is great. And as I always tell people, it's the sound quality that's the most important, and you did that right.
We're glad that we did that right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sound quality, but it's also, I think it has to be something that people want to forward to each other.
Right.
People that you've never met and don't know will say, I want to click on that just based on its content. It can't just be, here's the video version of my book.
Yes.
Because nobody really wants to read that. It has to be something that completely stands on its own as a valid, funny thing for someone to want to look at and say, I will look at this. I like this, I will send it to someone else.
Yes,
And
I
actually,
agree.
here's another tip I just remembered. So in YouTube, you can look and see, or at least Chuck told me this because it's his account. You can look and see exactly what part of your video, how far in people are leaving the page. And there's a graph of how many users, how far people watch.
Yeah, and they're developing that more and more every day too.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see that most people left at a certain point, about maybe a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes in, and the video is 3 minutes and 51 seconds. If I would make this video again, I would do it much shorter. I'd cut. They were leaving because they saw a bunch of funny things, and then it started to get a little bit slow, and that was enough. That's enough to go. So I would have cut out maybe 30 or 40%.
And it would have been a lot easier for you to make it too. I could have told you. You should have called me. I know short videos. but if they are staying for half of it, then that's 2 minutes. And if it had been 2 minutes, would they have stayed for 2 minutes, or would they have stayed for 1 minute?
That's a good question. Yeah.
So it's hard to know that. You'd have to do a split test. You'd have to re-edit the whole thing, and I'm sure it's not really in your wheelhouse. So I'm not sure you want to do that.
I think Chuck is done with this particular project.
So I would like to know. I mean, it seems obvious to me, but as a best-selling author, you got into the New York Times because of this. Now, you got into the New York Times, it was, you might say, an accident or a stroke of good luck, but because you wouldn't have gotten in the New York Times had you not done this.
Had the video.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, I think the word best-selling is not correct. I'm a selling author, but not a best-selling author.
Well, you're doing well, and you are, you're not doing anything. The video's out there, and you're not doing anything now, and it is selling the book. And by the way, there is something called Lead Player that if you got Lead Player and then you could put a button on it on the video, and then people you could say buy this now and click, they would you could put it on your website.
Lead Player. So that's actually something I tried to do. I'd never heard of Lead Player, and so I tried to do it through YouTube, and then was foiled when I saw that YouTube only puts up links to other YouTube pages.
Right. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link for Lead Player.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have to get Chuck to convince me I have to convince Chuck to let me go in through his account in order to put it up there. Because
you need a copy of that video. You should have a copy of that video. It's easy to
Oh, I do. But
by the way, you don't need to. You don't need Chuck, actually, because with Lead Player, you can put the button on any YouTube video. So it's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
You put it on somebody else's YouTube video?
Yes, you can. And it can lead to wherever you want. So if you want to, I mean, you can embed a YouTube video on your site, right? And on your site, you have a plug-in, and that's what Lead Player is, and you put it in there, and you just put the button, what you want the button to say, click here. So say I wanted to sell your book for you, and I took that video, and I put a buy the book now button on it, and somebody clicked on it, it would go, I could make it go to, any bookstore to,
interesting.
Yeah, that's selling it.
Huh.
So
I like that.
yeah. So I'll send you that. So
thanks.
Any other video creating secrets?
Let's see. Well, so the way that I asked the people at the New York Times how they had heard of me, and apparently what they did was they Googled grad school humor. They were doing a little thin insert type thing, maybe 20 pages about grad school in general. And they wanted one of those pages to be about grad school humor, so they Googled that and found the video. And I don't know if they would have found my book. Right. So I don't know much about how to get certain terms up in the Google rankings, but if
keywords,
I would, if I did know how, I would think of what are the terms someone is likely to Google if they're looking for me in general, if they're looking for this book in general.
Right. You need my course, dude.
I need your course.
Because I go over that, actually. You use Google Keyword, and it's a tool, and you can put in the words that you want to ask, like grad school humor, or, rapping grad students or whatever, and you see how many people that month have Googled that term. And what you want to shoot for is somewhere between 6 and 30,000. If something is like grad school alone would be searched for, say, 3 million times a month, right? Then you don't want that, even though it sounds like, oh yeah, I want 3 million, right? But you don't. I don't know why, but I just have done the research, and I just know that the experts that I followed have recommended between 6 and 30,000 on.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of amazing, and you want a low. I can't remember what they call it. Just a low competition. So because you don't want other things to be competing with but you just put those keywords in when you post it to YouTube, and that will help. And you can do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I think this is very good. You want to tell a little bit more about I'd love to hear a little bit just of your background, because you're so interesting with the scientist / comedian / family guy / rapper.
rapper just in that once. Actually it's not once. When I was in college, I wrote a rap song for a musical theater group, and then there's this group that I wrote for years, and I think I wrote like 25 different things that they performed, and then every year they do a show for the freshmen where they take the best of the old stuff, and none of the stuff that I wrote has ever survived into the future except this one rap.
Great.
And it's the registrar rapping. That's all it is, and it's just a weird little concept. Someone who shouldn't be rapping is rapping. In this case, it's the registrar rapping about course enrollment, and somehow that sticks in people's minds. I think it's about finding that one little niche that just has a funny concept to it to begin with.
Right.
The idea of a grad student rap, you click on it because you're wondering what are grad students rapping about. So in general, my background is that I have a PhD in molecular biology, and my day job is working at a small biotech company making a malaria vaccine, or trying to make a malaria vaccine. We'll see.
It's like trying to go viral, the whole viral thing. You're just in the viral thing, the malaria, the videos.
Except malaria is not a virus; it's a eukaryote.
Okay, well, you're the scientist. I'm not.
Precise, sorry. So yeah, doing that, and been doing stand-up for about 10 years. I started doing that in grad school.
Talk about your niche.
What's that?
Talk about your niche.
Yeah, there aren't that many. So that's another thing that I've been doing regarding publicity for the book. Having a book is great, but it's also a great stepping stone to it gives you the clout to do speaking engagements, which I saw on your website. You do a lot of those, and those are often the reward for having a book. Getting to do these great events.
It's fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and also knowing who your target audience really is. I've got some stand-up about grad school, and I can read from my grad school book, and I can talk about science, and so I have a very specific, small, but specific and specifically defined audience. So I email grad schools, and I email the head of the Graduate Student Association. I've done that maybe at 100 schools now, that emailed them, not gone there, and said, hi, this is who I am, here's my book. I do this 1-hour talk. Here's what it is. Here's a link to the rap video. Here are the other accolades. And if you're interested, drop me a line. And so now I've done, I think, about 24 different schools in the last year or two, which is great. I've gotten to travel around. I've been invited to, just because of having the book, really, and having the website.
It legitimizes you.
It legitimized it completely, yeah. And for years, I did not have a website. When the book launched, I had no website because I was cheap. I was saying, a website is going to be hundreds of dollars. I don't want to do it. And then finally, my wife had her book come out, and she got a website. And I started to see just how important it was. It's the difference between, legitimate and not legitimate.
No, you have to have a website. You have to have a website. You have to. And you have to have video on it. And I'm glad to see that yours does now. And you have a beautiful website. It's beautifully designed, and it's funny, and it tells what you do, but and who would have thought that you could relay that so well? But you did.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And the thing is, it's not like I said, I don't know much about making a website. My wife tried to make her own website and did it as good a job as she could using Google's templates, and then at some point said it needs to look like someone didn't use Google's template.
Right.
And so it ended up costing over $2,000.
Yeah, I was going to say hundreds of dollars. Where did you go?
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking, it might even be as much as $300 or $400, and then I'm seeing what these prices are. Like, no, it's a couple thousand. But
if you want it to look good.
But I can't pay that much for something intangible. It feels wrong. I'm paying for electrons.
You have to look at it as your home. Your home on the internet. You have to have nice furniture in your home. Your home has to look nice for visitors. And especially if you are an author whose career is that's what you want to do. I mean, you have this multifaceted career, so you could go any which way. But if somebody is a writer and that's what they want to do and that's all they want to do is be a writer, you have to present yourself as a professional. It's just like any other. You wouldn't go to if you're in corporate America, you wouldn't go to an interview to meet somebody in like Bermuda shorts, flip-flops, and haven't shaved. You would go with a suit because you have to present yourself properly in that format, in that forum. And same thing. If I go to somebody's website and I want to interview them for my podcast or something, and they have a website that looks like caca, I can't because I can't unless there's another reason, but I mean for well, I said that wrong. I'm taking that back. I would if depending on what the reason I'm interviewing them is. But if I were interested in someone and I looked and it's really clunky or hard to navigate or anything like that, it makes me like, oh, I can't do this, or something like that. And I tell people this all the time. I can't even believe it when people still don't even have a web presence. And there are a lot of people, some famous people in my business who don't have one. And just because they're famous doesn't mean they don't need one. In fact, I think they even need one more because kids are doing reports on these people, and you have to. Nobody is immune from. Nobody's bulletproof from having their books go down the tube, and if you're not set up already. Anyway, I'm getting on my little soapbox. I'm getting back down from that.
No, it's a valid soapbox because that's that was what my wife had tried to convince me for a while. You need to get a website, and I said it's too much. How will I ever know if it's working? And I've now said to her multiple times, thank you for convincing me to get a website, because I have gigs that I've gotten solely because I have this website where someone is searching for something like this. They come to my website, they see it, and then they contact me.
Right, and you have videos on there showing your performances, which is great.
Yeah, they have their videos, and it's not a lot on my website. There's their videos.
You have enough to give people idea, and that's enough. And speaking engagements is a great way to supplement your income.
Yes, and those have paid for the website, so it's
see, there you go,
and more. I mean, it's so, and I know that I've gotten some of those only because I've had the website, and so that's how I know. I just got an email a couple weeks ago from someone who wants me to speak at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and it's nothing I would have ever sought out myself. I wouldn't have even known that they existed, and yeah, so I'm going around the country and doing all kinds of things. In fact, not just around the country, but I had I was a keynote speaker at a conference in Belgium in September, and I'll be going to one in Sweden in March.
And Marina's at home going,
what's that?
Marina's at home going, I want to go to Belgium.
No, she came. So that's the other nice thing about speaking engagements. If you're willing to pay for your family to come, and if you have a child who's under 2 who flies for free,
right.
It becomes a good way to excuses for vacations. We stayed in Belgium for a week, and we're going to do the same thing with Sweden.
Fabulous! That's fantastic. I love that. I've been to a few places in Italy and South America for school visits. Yeah, it's really fun. One more thing I wanted to ask you was, I'm very curious now. What book did Marina write?
Oh, How to Tutor Your Own Child. And what's that? No,
go ahead. That's not something I could have ever done. So go ahead.
My kids are
not.
She's a professional tutor, She's been tutoring kids in the D.C. area for years. She started out tutoring refugees who had moved to Baltimore, and then she's also tutored kids at some of the fanciest private schools. And she's now the in-house writing tutor at the Sidwell Friends School.
Oh, nice.
Which is the school where the Obama daughters go.
Yes, I know.
But she does not tutor them because they don't need extra help.
Not with those parents, yeah.
Yeah. So she, her idea was that the parents can use the techniques of professional tutors to help their own kids with homework, but also just turning everyday environments into learning opportunities.
Wow.
So it was published by 10 Speed Press last year, and it's out there.
That's great.
Her book is another example of how a book is just the first step. She got contacted by CTY, the Center for Talented Youth. They're having a conference in Los Angeles, and they said, we would like to pay you to speak at the conference, and we'll fly your whole family to Los Angeles for 4 days, and you can stay at this nice hotel.
Nice.
Just random opportunities that fall in your lap just by virtue of you having a book. And then you get to the conference and you have to say something intelligent.
Does she have a video? Does she have a book trailer, any kind of video?
No. I mean, mine sort of was an obvious one for a trailer because it's just a humor book, but hers is...
There's plenty she
could do. Your head.
No. There's plenty she could do. She could she could do lessons online. She could do a little video. All she needs to do is every day or every Friday or whatever, Tuesday tutoring tips. There you go. And she every Tuesday she puts up a 1-minute video saying, if your child has a learning disorder, sit down, and when they get frustrated, instead of saying you have to get this done or you're going to fail, instead of doing that, say, I know it's so frustrating, it's so hard, but let's see if we can do this together, whatever the tip is, and to do that once a week, she'll get a huge following. And you upload it to YouTube, and you put that button from Lead Player on it to Amazon or wherever you want to, have people buy it. And I guarantee you, she will see a result. I guarantee you.
She had been doing a lot of blog posts.
You need video. She needs video.
Video is the way to go.
She has to have video. She has to. Seriously, I was joking when I said video or perish, but it's true. Because video, first of all, Google loves video, okay? And you need a YouTube channel too. And she should have a YouTube channel with all these tutorials on there. And she can upload it to TeacherTube and to... There are homeschooling sites, and there's all kinds of things she can put these videos on. And it's really... where my point was going was that Google loves video. So when you put a lot of video on your website, it's fresh content, and they grab it and it rises you up to the top of the search. So everybody wants to be at the top of the search, and you have to learn how to do your tagging and your keywords and stuff like that. But that's easy to learn. I mean, I'm not very good at that, but I still tag stuff, and there are plugins and things you can put on your website. I'm really hoping you have a WordPress website.
Yes.
Good. So you can do all that and just put the metadata in there. It's very easy. Just copy and paste it from your post, and you put it in there, and that's what they find. It's really quite astonishing how much video affects a website. And she can. I could think of a million things because I work with teachers all the time. So I can think of a million things that she could definitely make her site rise up. Rise up, Marina. Just rise up. So this was really great. I just want to ask you what happened after your video was posted in the New York Times, where you were mentioned.
So we had the number of hits basically went up very fast at the beginning. So it went from 0 to 50,000 in maybe half a year. But then by the time the New York Times came out, it had slowed down a lot. So we were maybe going,
a boost.
Yeah, it gave it a boost. I think the New York Times probably generated about 10 or 15,000 hits.
Nice.
And it didn't, send it soaring back up again, but it at least refreshed it a little bit and gave it that little bump. If you look at the analytics on YouTube, it's like this, and then this, and then here's the New York Times. So it was something, for sure.
And do you see a difference in your royalties as you with something like that? People view the video and then see.
I don't really know. I mean, my statements are monthly.
Monthly?
And I've looked.
Random House is giving you...
Oh, no, I don't receive them monthly. I mean, they're listed monthly.
Wow. Random House. I got to get published by Random House. Every 6 months I get a statement.
Oh, no, I get the statements twice a year, but they're broken down by how many books are sold per month.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
I thought I was left behind.
No,
I don't want to be
that
left
would've been
behind. Yeah.
But you look at those numbers and you try to figure out what impacted what.
Mm-hmm.
I was on NPR once, and I wanted to see if that would give a big bump. But the fact is, my monthly sales fluctuate between, say, 100 some and 800 some copies in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know whether that's because of Christmas,
Right.
or the video, or anything.
Now, Adam, do you bring your books to your gigs to sign?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I bring books to every gig. And in fact, at the beginning, what the publisher wanted me to do was, instead of being paid for speaking gigs, to do it in exchange for them purchasing, say, 100 books. And, well, it was not bad at the beginning. It gave me some experience. It gave me some low-stakes gigs to really work out the material.
Yeah, that's true. 1 or 2 I'm okay with, but that's another soapbox I own, right? I keep tucked over here, right here, because people deserve to be paid for their work, and you're working.
Yeah, and I also made the mistake once of going to a school where I had told them, they told me in advance, we'll definitely get money from different sources for this. We don't know how much it'll be. We'll find out when you get here. And I went to California and did the show, and the guy came and he said, I'm really, really sorry, but nobody gave us any money. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to put out a jar and have grad students put money in.
Those rich grad students, huh?
I made $12.
That.
And then the guy who organized it felt so bad that he put in a 20.
A 20?
So,
that's tacky. He should have ponied up. That's wrong.
There's not, but I mean that's his own personal money. There's no, but again, this was something where I was.
You paid for your own flight and everything?
No, I was already in California for something else.
Oh, okay.
But I was in Los Angeles and I did this gig in San Francisco, so it did require a 6-hour drive. But
wow, yeah, that's too bad. But you learned.
I learned.
Yeah, you learned.
But yeah, so I always bring books to gigs now, or if it's far away, I ship them there, and I have Random House ship them directly, and I sell them when I'm there. And sometimes I overguess how many books to supply. I end up with a big box in my backpack trying to take them home.
Well, Adam,
and sometimes I underguess.
Did you ever think about asking a local bookstore, a local independent bookstore, to do the book sale? Just say, look, I'm coming here. This is who I am. Here's my website. If you order these, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they are, that's their business.
It's kind of a middle ground because most of these are college campuses. And so the local bookstore, the bookstore that can sell on campus, has to be the campus bookstore.
And they won't do it?
Some will, some won't. But I've also found that the easiest thing for me to do is just bring books and sell them for cash.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, so I did one at Syracuse recently, and they had to have the campus bookstore sell the books.
Mm-hmm.
And I told everybody I sell my books for $10 because it's easier to take $10. Yeah. It's really supposed to be $12, but because they're the campus bookstore, they had to charge $12 plus tax, and I think that turned people away from buying it.
Right.
It's also not, there's the whole mathematics of if the bookstore sells a book, I get $1 roughly toward my royalties.
Right.
If I buy a book and then go resell it myself, I get $4 in cash.
Mm-hmm. I'm
nowhere near meeting my advance, and so either I get $1 toward money that I might get in 10 years, or I get $4 now. None of it's huge anyway. I mean, I've gone around and sold lots of books all over the place, and even so, I've probably only hand sold about 500 books.
Really, the book is more a vehicle for you to get speaking gigs. I mean, if you make, a couple $1,000s on a speaking gig, think of how many books you would sell for that amount, Exactly. And if at that speaking gig I do really well and sell 20 books, that's $80. Right.
So it's really not about selling the books. It's great to have the books with me and great to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I also feel bad troubling the campus bookstore when
Right.
only 5 people might buy a book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you never know.
It's different. It's definitely a different model than with children's books because people buy picture books for gifts. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, people buy this book as a gift too. That was one of the things I thought about when proposing it. The fact that if
Yeah.
you have a grad student, in fact, the reason that Random House wanted it out at the date when it came out, which was in April of 2010, was because they wanted to get it on the gifts for grads
right,
table.
right.
And but then they turned out to not do that because I guess it's a financial decision whether or not to. You have to pay to get a book on
Right,
that table.
right.
So they made a decision not to do it.
Silly Random House.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough business publishing. Let me tell you, but it's a really great business.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Well, thank
Learning a whole
you.
lot.
I really, really appreciate you taking the time. You know, your little daughter's Googling in the background. Gurgling, I should say, not Googling. Gurgling. She's too young to Google.
Oh, I didn't know you could hear her.
Yeah.
Yep. She's doing a puzzle over there.
Oh, well, just enjoy her and have a great night. And tell Marina I said start doing 1-minute videos. Just little lessons from her book. It's FAQs. You can do, you know, all kinds
That's
of
a good
things.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to go over all this in my course, but